Hello, welcome to the next episode of our series. While it has been a fun journey we have been through here, as with all things, the end must come eventually.
Knowledge is very valuable, and with it comes rules. We cannot go over here facts and events that you will easily be able to find out with other available means. This series was never intended to be a complete tell-all of all things that have gone on. It is just here to fill in enough information to catch the rare, very dedicated person somewhat up to speed with the basics of how our society came to be what it is now. We have a very different existence than could ever be imagined by those in a normal mortal world. As is the case with many things, our society was never planned to be like it is now. It evolved and morphed over time, based on what worked to solve the major problems we faced.
But looking back at your society, you might see deep and sacred traditions, with a rich history where unerring and wise prophets talked with gods. Or maybe you see ancient churches with lines of authority and teaching, leading directly back to the chosen of God on earth, and they're created by the direct command of the heavens. But trust me, that is not what all see down in your earth, when they look at these same institutions and leaders. There are a number of leaders alive that know much of what really went on back then, when we introduced Christianity. Most of what I say next will likely sound unbelievable and will probably offend some. People tend to get tradition, the opinions of masses, and facts mixed up. As some evil men have pointed out, a lie told often enough becomes the truth, or at least believed to be. But to wrap up a great many events into a very small summary, here is what actually happened back then. The real Christ is an office or a calling, not any one specific person. While we work with all religions, Christianity holds a special place, because we helped found it. The same cannot be said for the Jewish faith. It was already an existing religion started by humans, before we had anything to do with it. We helped morph it into Christianity. There are roughly 10 to 20 or so adults from our society, who fill the role at any one time. They rotate in and out of the calling fairly frequently, giving many a chance to help. There was no real birth or death of Christ on your earth. All who served in that role were already adults from our ranks. Our role was to teach, and show a way back. The birth and death stories were made up by those in power on earth, based on both their own religions and beliefs, as well as the requirements that we imposed on them. We forced them to adopt Christianity. Sure, the role of Christ is a peaceful one, but the ultimatum we gave your leaders was one that gave them no choice but to adopt this religion. This is why you might be able to see a bit of a love-hate relationship with the church among certain powerful people on the earth, and including some of the very top church leaders. Ultimately, we needed to force some changes that would help break the cycle of greed, violence, and control the earth was in, so that true society-wide advancements could happen. We needed more technology, more roles in society, and certain other things for the rank and file, that Christianity helped to bring about, in one way or another. Other changes were made as well then. It is no accident that modern society developed when it did. This was largely because of many things we did behind the scenes to help you.
While many of you are rightfully taught to respect religions and other people's viewpoints, we here can see the downsides on how the idea of God can be used for great evil. After some powerful in the earth saw how we forced upon them a savior, who would let the masses out of the mental and physical servitude that they are in, some had their own idea. The laws, morality, technology and advancements to the society we helped bring, also brought a bit more freedom to the masses. This freedom is absolutely not what many leaders want. So in response to the multi-pronged approach, that included Christianity, we used to bring a more free and advanced world. Some earth leaders made their own religion. People in a religion are supposed to feel that its teachings come directly from God. As such, they cannot easily be questioned or debated. It has always been a tool used to control and manipulate the masses. With the Christian churches, despite the many teachings we put there, others put many other things meant to enslave and lead you away from precious truth. But the corruption of Christianity was not enough for your leaders. They wanted their own response to the Savior we brought. The Muslim faith was their response to Christianity. The Islamic faith was designed from the ground up by evil conspiring people, as a tool that would specifically be used to blind and control masses. Of the mistakes we have made, Allowing this evil religion to get a hold over so many, was one of the largest we have made. Many leaders on your earth, including at least one major Muslim country, know of the real human origins of this religion. They know of the original plan, and the intended uses of that religion. While we will work to inspire those of all faiths, this religion has a number of checks and balances used to intentionally discourage free thinking, questioning the faith, and being able to follow the true spirit of wisdom we bring. Its treatment of women and non-Muslims is horrendous. It is no accident that it is used to stir up so much trouble in your world now. It was always designed to do such things. The many churches of the Reformation were a response to the stranglehold of corruption and vice that came with the old large church in those times. That church at its core is set against us, and against the very Christ that they profess to worship. It is one of the most powerful forces behind the scenes even to your day. It infiltrated and corrupted almost all major religions and countries that exist even to your day. While there is some truth to say that no one specific church can be seen as the evil church, from the book of Revelation, it is also true that this one church is as close as you can get to the one that is called the whore of the earth. Its evil is more widespread than you might imagine. Even if you do not belong to that church, the ones of the Reformation follow along with what they are told far more than what many think.
To cover other important topics, there is a great American church, founded in the States, with some controversy surrounding it. I will go over here some key points of clarification. It is actually a bit more of a confusing bunch of events, so I will just get at it. The founder of this great American church claims to have been visited by God the Father and his Son Jesus Christ while he was still a young boy. That part does actually happen to be true. We did use the boy to start a church. Young Joseph had desires to get a book. It was decided to make one that would give people from the Americas and the island nations something to help them have a connection to the divine as well. We needed something that would tie the hodgepodge of a religion that the Christian Jewish traditions had turned into, and gently direct them in more productive ways. We wanted to bring a better emphasis on the individual spiritual connection each person has. The only way for our children to get pretty accurate instruction while on the earth is to have a pretty decent spiritual connection to their Father in the eternal realms. Direct insight and clarification is absolutely essential to any good education, and so, we here decided to make the book we gave as an altered version of our real story escaping from our old society, and the leap that brought us immortality. Now, there was not anywhere near enough science yet on your earth to tell an accurate version. We also wanted this to be a religious book, not a work of science fiction, so we chose the setting as an escape from Israel around the time of a destruction, and the building of a new nation in the Americas. We have a decent knowledge of both religion and your history, so it was easy enough to make a book that fit the requirements quite well. It was filled with content that would tie it into existing religion, and with morality that would help teach our children, and bring them closer to us. It also helped give the idea that it is possible for you to grow and eventually become like us, which is true. A problem is that things started going sideways a bit more quickly than we had anticipated. If you had read the book we gave him, you can see that we warned Joseph many times about the dangers of secret combinations. We knew of the large reach of the powerful church, and how quickly its reach would extend to those within the new American church. There were a great many things that went wrong then, from the boy prophet using the book and the church as his own tools, to some other corrupt leaders that would follow. But of some of the most inconvenient things are the many ties to polygamy the church had, and much of the ties to symbolism and other practices brought through Masonic ties. As for polygamy, its roots are anything but divine. It actually gets its start in the animal kingdom, where the strongest animal gets possession of the lot of females. It has everything to do with animal type lust, and nothing to do with the type of equality, trust, and a deep emotional bond that is a part of divine relationships. It puts women as being less important or equal as men, and makes a divine relationship impossible. It never has been inspired by us in the entire history of the world, but we are very pragmatic here, and use whatever we can, if it has a better effect than other realistically available options. We had put too much into the American church to abandon it now. We did in time turn that American church around and get it going in the right direction, with leaders that were less corrupt than who helped get it going.
We do have to make use of things in the church we would rather not, but that is the norm that happens in any church, or other sacred book. We just cannot let on that this happens so regularly, or people would lose faith in everything, and not get the education they need to grow into the wise individuals they need to become. The current leaders of that church that started in the States have long since given in to the promises and threats given by that older, more powerful church. Once the millennium of peace that we are currently bringing in is underway there will be leadership changes to both the smaller American-based church and the more powerful one. They will be quiet changes that will be as subtle as is possible. The corruption that has been placed in the Bible will also be corrected. As for which church or set of beliefs is best for you, that is a question that you will have to find for yourself. There is no one church that is best for all. There are evil conspiring people in all major religions, and false teaching almost everywhere you will look. Get experience, and do the best you can. We will give more answers when you get back home. For now, experience gained in a mortal body, in a mortal world, will help you understand the lessons to come in the next world.
While there will be more episodes of this eventually, for now, please just use these to try to understand a little of how the eternal part of the society is organized. We are really one people, who are united more than what you can now see. But there are huge issues we all are deciding in the eternal realms as this video is being made. We are actively bringing in the millennium of peace now, and have been for a short while. It is a process that will not be completed overnight, but the work is already upon us. There will be no one religion for everyone. Many of the details are still not completely decided even among ourselves in the great councils. What is important for us all though, is that we all need to demand a righteous rule of democracy, an uncorrupted version of the scientific process both here and in the eternal realms, and that we escape dangerous genetics and educational practices that we know will lead to destruction and huge problems. There are many that we know how to fix that we do not yet. We need to fix society, and especially the problems in the eternal realms that is causing the division in our eternal ranks. If we do not, we will eventually blow ourselves up. Then no one will be around to be able to win or gloat over others. Survival and growth come first, then we will have time to fix other problems. But for the people down here, for now, just use this to educate yourselves, and know that you will be involved in the discussion eventually. Please do your best to become wise. A large number of peaceful can overcome a small number of ruthless and deceptive powerful people who would lead us to destruction. Only through all of our education can we be safe.